Alrighty everyone, how's it going? Sora here. We're gonna be taking a look at another action figure today. This time we're gonna be taking a look at the amazing Yamaguchi Izuku Midoriya by Revoltech. That's actually not as long as I as I planned it out to be. But you can see I already have him posed up and ready, and I have not actually a lot of people I feel like every Revoltech review starts off with the preface that there's not a lot of people who actually love Revoltech figures because they are weird, but I've been told that over the years they've been balancing out and using a lot less of the Revoltech joint and more conventional joints. These figures are meant to look really dynamic. You're not supposed to pose them in neutral poses. They're supposed to look good in all sorts of dynamic poses you can get them, but a lot of people have trouble with the articulation of these figures, and I've been told that the Midoriya figure is probably their best one. I'm gonna have to agree. I haven't bought a Revoltech figure since their Gurren Lagann one from like years and years and years ago, and this is a giant leap forward, and I'm sure they've been taking many steps towards that. So you can see I already have him posed up in the action pose right here. But before we even take a look at that, oops, we're gonna take a look at the box, which is the most. It's green because it's Deku, but I don't know. The color scheme reminds me of Mountain Dew, so you can see it's the amazing Yamaguchi line, and as far as I know, Midoriya is the first non comic book character that's been introduced in this line. So it's a pretty big deal in a lot of ways. One is just the amount of tech they've put into the line itself, but also it's the first anime character from this line, and you know what better fit than My Hero Academia, which is basically a love letter to all things comic books. But you can see it's very, I don't know, it's not graffiti, but it gives me that feel. Get a shot of All Might and Midoriya at the bottom, Angry Deku at the top. It says Izuku Midoriya, number 18 in the series. So before we take a look at the figure, we're going to take a look at his accessories. Okay, so he has a number of accessories. Most of it can be attributed to these lightning pieces. He has several of these like big, I want to say like translucent green. Yeah, it's more greenish in person, not quite so in the camera. But these green pieces, which are meant to show off the one for all power going coursing through his body. Um, I still don't know how I feel about it, but it's better than nothing. You can't really give Deku any sort of accessories that it doesn't already have. But these are interesting. They plug into holes all across the body, which I'll show you later. I already have two plugged into the figure, which is why there's two missing there. So you get 8 for the body, and then you get 4 for the hands. 2 smaller green pieces, and the two, I want to say like pinkish, which is like, I guess it would be him like focusing 100% power into his hands as he does, because he can't help himself. These are pretty good. They're pretty sturdy. I mean, they're pliable. I wouldn't like mess with them too much, but they're pretty sturdy from what I can tell. He also comes with some alternative faces, which I'll have to bust out this tool. It comes with this thing, and I don't know, it's kind of off-putting that it's a flesh color, but whatever. I kind of use this to get the accessories out of the tray table, but it's used because these alternate faces have removable eyes. You can see it's just a little eye plate right there, and the lighting's a little extreme, but if you saw it in real life, you could see there's like a letter and a number attached to it. So this one says A2. It's hard to see because his angry face has its own separate tray table of eyes that you're supposed to put on it, which can all be found here, right there. The A faces have less eyes associated with them. The angry face has like all these, and the one that I already have attached to the figure. But going back to the face sculpt, this is the one that it comes with out of the box. Standard neutral expression, what kind of stern, kind of serious looking Deku with the eyes facing forward. I just kept the eyes on there. That's fine. Um, I guess considering the fact that there are two alternate faces for the A faces, that it's almost equal. There's still like one more extra for the B face, but whatever. And this is a more happy Deku, kind of looking off to the side, but that's because that's the face that those are the eyes that it came with. I appreciate the fact that they have done away with this rolling eyeball system that I think the first time I ever saw it was Hot Toys introducing it long time ago with their Dark Knight line back in like whatever 2012. And ever since then, small companies in smaller scales have been trying to reproduce it, and it sucks. And I'm glad that they opted for just having like a plate instead of the individual eyes, because you can never get them aligned. I have the snake figure, the Venom snake figure, and that works out because he only has the one eye, but the solid snake figure has two, and I can't deal with it. Anyway, he also comes with this alternate hairpiece, which has some of the translucent green that you saw for the lightning pieces right here. This is meant for when he's activated One for All and it's coursing through his entire body. I didn't bother putting this on, but switching out these faces in the head, the hair pieces are pretty easy. I'll leave that out so you can see it here. I'll even take this face out so we can take a look at the figure in a second. He also comes with his book, which is pretty cool. It's turned to, I think that's Kamui Woods. That's the Spider-Man looking guy, but the tree guy. It's his compost notebook. Hero, it says. I don't know what the rest of it says, but I can see Hero written right there. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I enjoy this. I mean, of course, if Deku's gonna have any sort of accessory, it's gonna be his notebook. I wish it was a little beat up, like burnt up, like like how it was in the beginning of the show. But let's assume this is a new notebook. That's pretty cool. He also comes with a pen, which is attached to this little tray of eyes that I showed you. I'm not going to take it out, because these are tiny. I do appreciate that this thing has a slip cover that doesn't lock in. So I can just take that off and put it on. Because if it locks, then I run the risk of it all flying everywhere. But there's that. He comes with a bunch of alternate hands. These two gesturing hands, or powering up hands, I don't know what you would call them, kind of grabbing hands, kind of Shigaraki vibes right there. He comes with these plucking hands. When he about to do it, his fingers about to break with these. I do enjoy that. These are sculpted pretty well. There's not really a lot of detail that you can see from these. These are just plain white gloves. This is based off of his outfit from the beginning of season 4. I understand that he changes his outfit halfway through, just a little bit again, like slight changes, like, all these, but I'm not there yet. And these hands are specific for the notebook and the pen. So this hand is specifically for holding the pen in his right hand, and this is for specifically holding the book in his left hand. It's supposed to apparently like hold from the top of it like that. So he's supposed to be holding it, like propping it up with his elbow or something like that. But you could probably cheat it out a little bit. I don't know, but the way that I just put it, it kind of just fits right there. So that's fine. It is a little weird that it's not just its own piece attached with the hands, but whatever. I guess options are good. But I'm not gonna, I don't know. I'm too scared to mess with that. But he also comes with, if I can see it, he comes with 2 stands. And I didn't take out one of the stands. But these are pretty sturdy. The Legacy of Revoltech Gurren Lagann figure that I have came with one of these, but I feel like this one's like thicker. It feels sturdy. It even says Kyoto on it. So it's just a standard stand that comes with all the Revoltech figures. But he comes with 2 because the last accessory he comes with are all these effects pieces. I didn't bother taking these out yet, but it says smash going this way. The one that I have on the stand goes the other way. I'll show you. And he has a thought bubble for when he's like muttering, deep thought. And apparently these, I mean, these look kind of like, I don't want to say grody, but that's because there's like a screen protector right on top of it. I'm not going to bother to take those out because I don't mind it. But here's the one, if I can take this out real quick. This is the other smash. So you see it's going this way now. So you can get in both ways. And I appreciate that they give us the option. Oh, now it's on the ground. But moving right along to the figure itself. I guess we should put this away real quick, huh? Okay. Here's Deku. Like I said, he comes with an angry face. Again, it's sculpted really, really well. You can really see the teeth gritting around on this one. But like I mentioned earlier, swapping out the heads for these are pretty easy. They're pretty sturdy. The amount of tech that went into the articulation for this toy is really, really good. You can see it just pegs right on top of the head right there. And this one pegs right in that way. And this one is like flying up a bit more. I don't know. You kind of see more of his forehead. I kind of don't like that, if I'm being honest. I get it. I get that that's the shape of his actual face, but I guess I'm so much more used to. Like it's not even that different, but it just, I don't know, it just throws me off a little bit. I don't not particularly a fan of that. But yeah, these are pretty sturdy, and we're gonna keep the angry face on for the duration of this video. Actually, might hear my dog whining around in the background right there. Sorry about that. But you can see already when I was pulling his neck out to show you, this guy's got some weird, crazy articulation. The amount of tech, I've only messed around with it a little bit. The amount of tech that they've gone through to make this a Revoltech figure, but also be just a regular action figure, is kind of astounding, if I'm being honest. They were right. The amount of tech that they put in is pretty grand. Let me see if I can get the... because he's not as tall as that camera would trick you. But Revoltech figures are not really known for having a good neutral pose, and I'm trying my best here to do it on camera real quick, but I'm having trouble. But you can see he stands up pretty well. Like his shoulders, his arms actually go down to his sides, and like his legs aren't sticking all the way out. But yeah, I don't know. Deku's just like a fun character design, and I'm really glad that out of all the companies to take a swing into the toy line, I'm glad that Robotech was one of them. The My Hero Academia license has been passed around so much. That we saw a bunch of different iterations of it, and I'm glad that Revoltech gets to put their hat in the ring. And honestly, I think this is the best one. It is really pricey though. I ended up having to pay $96 for it. That's with tax and shipping though. The base figure itself was like $85. So it's pricey. It's up there, but I think if you're a fan, it's worth it. Hopefully they get to put more into the line, but like, look at this. The amount of detail they were able to put in. All the little studs are punched in right there. His boots, the metal toes that he has on, pretty freaking cool. And like I said, the Revoltech joints have kind of taken a back seat with this one. There's a lot more standard ball joints and whatever everywhere. So you can still get those crazy poses, but you can also just have a standard neutral pose. You can see up here, and I'll start showing off the articulation, the neck is actually attached to the head, on the back of the head, with the dumbbell joint. So that allows you like greater range of motion into like getting like maybe like a flying down pose like this, or maybe a flying forward pose. And from here, if you're looking at it this way, it looks pretty normal, right? I mean, it's gonna look abnormal right here if I just have them like right there, of course, but like that lets me do that little kick that I had in the beginning of the video, where I have it right here. And actually this one still looks kind of a little bit normal if you don't think about it too hard. but it lets you get into all sorts of crazy poses without having to worry about the range of this figure. It's really meant for all these dynamic, crazy action poses, and it's really great if you want to use this as like a base for like drawing. If you're wanting to make some My Hero Academia art, and you want like a better base for it than just a standard body. But this is super super cool. I really like it a lot. But I guess now is a good a time as any to talk about articulation. Like I mentioned, the head is attached by a dumbbell joint at the neck. It's a little bit loose. I don't want to mess around with it too much, but it holds pretty well from what I can tell. And if it gets loose, you can always just put like some crazy glue on it or whatever just to tighten that joint up just a little bit. No ratchet joints from what I can tell. The legs are really really tough though, but working my way down. Again, the head is attached on a dumbbell joint, so you get some crazy range right there. It pretty much goes all the way around. You can bury the chin all the way there, but it looks freaky right there. But of course, that gets you that shot. Super cool. Looks up that much. Goes all the way around, obviously. It's also attached, I don't know what joint that is, at the bottom of the neck. It just looks like a standard, it just feels like a standard ball joint. Or maybe it's a ball hinge. I have no idea. The collar itself is a separate piece attached by a ball joint on the back, so you can get it out of the way a little bit. But it is attached with a ball joint just underneath this hood right here. So there's that. There is a butterfly joint that encompasses that little shoulder pad right there. And that's gets you poses like these and goes like that as far back as it goes. Arms can go about just about like there. You can go all the way around. I kind of have trouble with it. There you go. No swivel at the top of the bicep. This would have been a perfect cut, but I guess not. That's fine though. That's my one gripe with the articulation. Single joint Revoltech joint at the elbow gets you way past 90. It's pretty much close to, almost as close as like a regular human being can do it. Another Revoltech joint down here at the wrist, so you can get the up and down motion and the side to side motion depending on how you orient that articulation. There's a ball joint at the ribs or the chest, and a ball joint at the waist. So really good range of motion going backwards, really good range of motion going forwards. Get those nice action poses in, get that hero landing pose in there. But moving on. Whoop. Fucking ball joint fell forward. That's the first time that's done that. Again, the joints feel smooth. I don't want to say loose because I feel like that has like a negative connotation to it, but it just feels smooth. The waist itself, or the hips, the crotch area, is a floating piece, so you can get it out of the way. Oh, I didn't even realize that these move slightly, the pockets move slightly, just to get out of the way. Hold on, now I'm curious, how does that attach? Oh, that's neat. So the pockets are attached back here on a swivel. So this floats. This is not attached to anything. It's connected together right here. I just noticed that. That's interesting. Gets it out of the way. Anyway, legs go up that much. Go backwards just a little bit, kind of hindered by the butt. Go forward a lot. It does kind of swing out, but you can always rotate it at the top of the legs right there. Double joint or single Revoltech joint again at the knee, but again, the amount of motion, the range of motion you get from that is a lot. This red piece is like a cuff around the ankle joint or the foot joint, I guess. So it kind of gets in the way, but also kind of makes it so that it hides it pretty naturally. So you can go back that much, go forward that much, and of course you get your pins for rockers right there. Oh, so there's a toe joint, which I don't know. I don't know how much of a fan I am of that. It's just kind of useless to me. But it's neat. It's interesting. But that's about it for articulation, and all that will get you so much range of motion. It's unbelievable. Um, you might have noticed a few times in the review that there's a bunch of holes on his body. This back hole right here is for the stand. Right there. So you can see he just kind of flies up right there. But there's a bunch of other holes on his body. That's what the effect pieces are supposed to go on. So this lightning piece, which if I stop dropping it, is meant to go everywhere. He even has one on the bottom of his feet. So he has one on his feet, which I found this one to be a little bit difficult to put on. You can see I kind of wore it down a little bit, but we're gonna try to put that back on. I thought for a second that the hole on the bottom of the foot was meant for like a stand, but according to the instructions, not quite so. It's like it's classifying it as one of the pieces that you can put one of the holes you can put these FX pieces on. So the foot kind of hard to put on there, but there's one right there. He also has one on the back of his I guess his shins. I found this one to be a bit easier to put on. Just kind of slides right in there. There you go. And he also has one on the triceps. And he also has one attached to his hand right there. I think only on the fists. I don't know about the other hands, but I could be wrong. I think... Oh, and he also has some on the underside of his hood. I just noticed those. But perfect. All of these accommodate all the poses that you can manage to get for him. I guess one last thing I didn't mention is this little doohickey right there. That's for the text bubbles. It's a little slot. You just put the word bubble right there. So that's a smash, right? If I can complain about one thing, it's that these stands came out a little bit loose. But it's really easy to get him into some decent action poses. And they stick pretty well. I don't know. It's really easy to get him into some cool action pose, maybe frame it correctly, you can draw it. I don't know. I like it a lot. What do you guys think? I tend to pretty much only buy stuff that I know I'm gonna love anyway, so I knew getting this in the mail that I was gonna love it, but seeing it in person, seeing it in action, really, really cool. Can't wait to try and get some cool photos of this guy and maybe even draw a little bit. But this is probably my favorite figure that I've gotten this year. And unlike the last figure I got, it actually came with everything that it was supposed to. Who'd have thunk that getting all the accessories that it said it would be a contributing factor to how much I like a figure. Who'd have thunk it? But anyways, that's it for me. Again, if you're a fan of My Hero Academia, if you love Deku, go ahead and buy it. I guess I should show you a size comparison. That's the one thing I forgot to do. Take this piece off, see if I can get him to stand in a more neutral pose. I've cleaned up a little bit since yesterday, so I unfortunately don't have a lot of figures to compare him to. But here he is standing next to the Star Wars Black Series, The Mandalorian. See, Mando's just a little bit taller, but Deku is supposed to be a child, so that's fine. Maybe I should move them farther away from the camera so you can see the whole figure right there. And here he is next to the Skyward Sword Link figure. And Figmas tend to run a little small, but their scale is a little questionable to me. So if you are trying to buy the Figma Todoroki, Figma Bakugo, or the Uraraka, I'm pretty sure they would scale fine with the Deku. So, but hopefully they do come out with other uh, Kyoto, amazing Yamaguchi figures from this series, just because it's so good. And out of all the companies that I've seen that have tried to put their hands on it, I would say Rebel Tech takes it 100%. Figma, okay, you know, it's fine, but you know, McFarlane, if you're not really that much of a, if you can't really afford this guy, because this guy is pretty pricey, um, the McFarlane ones I think are pretty serviceable for that price range. But if you do have the cash to buy one of those figures, I'd say buy this one. So that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.